Welcome back to Cyber Unfiltered, where Matt has the best view of all of us.
But
by far.
Chris, you were on Lake Michigan showing off that time, so I
That's-
felt like
that's-
for the first time I'm going to try recording from a dock on my lake
That's fair, but I don't
Mount
live,
Matthew.
I don't live on a lake though. Well, you don't either, but you have a.
I don't know if I'm going home, so I might live on a lake now. We'll see.
Yeah,
Although,
when the-
getting here is interesting for those that
What-
haven't seen my Facebook videos. It's pretty rural.
Yeah, well, wait until the winter hits, and we'll see how long you stay there.
No winter maintenance, and I don't have a heater big enough to even heat the
There
little
you
cabin. So no, it's also there's no water in this lake in winter, so my dream is crushed. But hi, I'm gonna
That's right. They pulled the water out, don't they?
yeah, because this is mostly flood mitigation. So in summer the boaters all want the water, but as fall comes along, all the whitewater rafters want their water released. So they kind of try to balance those two things. And then
That's
all of us that lost our boat anchors during the year can literally walk out and retrieve them, and it's hilarious to see people just finding their stuff that was lost.
You can take videos of that because there's gonna be probably fish finders at the bottom of the lake.
There really is. It's honestly really neat though.
That's awesome.
Sometimes I'll send you guys links to the history because there's a whole town under there that we've had George Washington go through, and there's pictures of him in the buildings that you can still see the foundations of before they flooded this. It's kind of neat.
That's pretty cool.
Kids out with some metal detectors, see what they find.
You know, they've found pots and all kinds of things down there every year. But I digress.
That's
Mount
awesome.
Matthew. That's really what I point out. Since the locals don't seem to have a name for that mountain, I'm claiming it as Mount Matthew. Thank you very much.
Matthew.
You should get a flag and swim over there and just right on the top of it says Mount Matthew.
I think I'm gonna have to do that.
Just wait till they let the water out and walk out.
If my boat didn't sink, I could drive out. But anyway, we should probably start.
Matt and I can't talk about boats. So
anyway,
we cover AI a little bit. We don't want to talk about it that much. I know it's a hot topic right now. Some people hate AI. We particularly like it because we use it for a lot of stuff in our businesses. But the one thing that we're going to see eventually is the rise of agentic AI actually being used in businesses. I know people have thought for a while that, jobs are going to be gone. Ford's finding out hard that AI didn't do quality control as well as engineers did. So now they're firing them all back. Taco Bell, the AI experiment there that went bad at the drive-thru, but it's not that it's not coming. There needs to be more work done. However, what I want to do today is cover a little bit about things you should know about AI, and then go into something that's kind of cool that you could actually buy for your business if you wanted to. It's not cheap. Just saying that for a second. But so you guys use mostly frontier models, right? Like ChatGPT or Anthropic, Claude. Okay. Do you use Gemini?
Yeah,
a little bit, not much.
For personal stuff.
Okay.
I use local models, but I don't think they're quite as big as what you're talking about, like Mac Mini stuff.
True. Now I only use Chinese models online and I don't pay for them, so I just put all my data.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, so I believe Chris is the example of what not to do now.
That is a great soundbite.
Exactly. Yeah, that will be a great soundbite, actually. That's not how I do it, but that just sounded fun. So the things we want to understand about AI, like just from a fundamental standpoint, is there's something called parameters. And a parameter is like, what knowledge does it have? Right? So it's kind of like, what has the model learned? So when you talk about Anthropic or ChatGPT, there are someplace between 800 billion and 2 trillion parameters in each model, which means it has a very large learned brain, right? So bigger, it means smarter, but it also means the more parameters, the more power it takes to run. So that's why data centers are going up everywhere. That's why everybody's having, there's a lot of people upset about data centers going up, but when they have these big models, they need more power. So NVIDIA powers most of these data centers. There are some exceptions to that. Anthropic uses some some Amazon TPUs, which are basically just processors that can do AI really fast. So that's why we need data centers. There's two types of models really that we're going to talk about: dense versus MOE, or mixture of experts. A dense model is kind of like the equivalent of calling your entire company in for a decision that one person can answer. It's not very efficient. It's very expensive. It's very slow. When you have a mixture of experts, it's like having like all of your departments in your company, but you only call in the company or the department that needs to be there to answer the question. Like if it's legal, you would only call in the legal department. If it's a sales question, you'd only call in the sales team, right? So that means the model can run a lot quicker. So even if there's a lot of parameters, let's say a trillion parameters, maybe there's only 100 billion that are active for that model in a mixture of experts. So it runs a lot faster.
Makes sense.
Does it make sense?
Cool. Makes sense.
Awesome. Quantization is you're trying to only keep the useful information and you're trying to make things smaller. So you're trying to take like, so it uses less memory, because we know right now memory is expensive. Everything's getting expensive. Laptops, desktops, memory is expensive. We can thank data centers for that. We can thank AI for that too. But quantization is trying to make things smaller. The problem with that is the more you quantize something, the more you compact it, it can run on less memory, but it loses something. You actually lose quality or detail with that. So the reason I want to cover this today is because there's a device coming out that is kind of like a data center that can run underneath your desk and actually run some pretty big local AI models without spending the money every month for ChatGPT or Anthropic or Gemini, or if you're really crazy, DeepSeek.
Data center in a box?
Kind of a data center in the box, because as we move forward, we know that AI is going to get better. It gets better all the time. A lot of people are running agents. Are the agents really are accomplishing much? They're fun for YouTube videos and stuff like that, but are people actually making money on it? It's a good question. Some businesses I know are running their own local AI models, and they're doing very specific things in the business, and it's turned out to work really well. But I want to talk about the NVIDIA DGX station.
Magic box.
Yeah, this thing's wild. So we're talking 748 gigs of total RAM. Now, a normal laptop has 16 gigs.
Very expensive RAM too.
Yeah, 252 gigs of it is really expensive. Really expensive. It's HBM RAM, or HBM 3E, and then there's 496 gigabytes of DDR5X. You don't have to know what that means. Just think your laptop has.
You know, it's really freaking fast.
Yeah. So your laptop has 16 gigs of RAM. This only has 31 times that. Just for the CPU. And then the GPU has another 252 gigs. So this allows us to run some AI agents, run local models. Now, remember, we talked about ChatGPT and Claude use someplace between 800 billion and 2 trillion parameters. They don't really tell us that. That's just an estimation. Those numbers are not public. A local model that can run on this will probably have someplace between 70 billion parameters and maybe 235 billion. So significantly smaller. But it might be all you need. So let's say you want to do something with document summary, or you want to run an agent that can actually chat with people inside your company and offer support. You might be able to take all the company documentation you have, feed it to this local AI model, and create a chatbot that could actually answer questions for your company. It could be an HR. It could have all your HR stuff. And I wouldn't, not the private information of people, but like, let's say it has all of your entire company handbook in there, and people could chat with it, and it can actually do that for you. You wouldn't have to pay for ChatGPT or Anthropic to actually run that. Maybe you're able to have somebody come in and help you create an agent that can actually completely run customer service. Can be off your website, right? So it can be trained on that. This could all happen. Now, how much do you think this is to run? Just to buy the box.
I don't know.
Well, we all know
it's be $20 a month.
So so it's like $20 a month. But if you use API tokens, it gets a lot more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Exponentially.
It's between $90,000 and
Guessing we're
$120,000.
going in the area of starting with six figures.
Yeah, it's between $90,000 and $120,000. Right, that's what they're estimating. It comes out later this fall.
Ooh.
Right, but remember,
Yikes!
there are some companies that are spending $80,000 a month on tokens.
Yeah.
With Anthropic,
So
or
this is
more.
a huge savings if they meet their needs.
It could be. Yeah, it could be because they could buy a few of these and save money.
Mhm.
Right? They could put them specifically in certain, like you could run, you can link multiple of these together too. So there's a potential if you're a big enough company, you could put two in one department and actually run it, or you could put one in each department and run through whatever AI you need for that. You can create agents to do all sorts of things. It could be a research agent, could be just agents to actually do things in the business. Move files around, stuff like that. Like all this stuff can be done.
We can drop them in Matt's cabin to keep it warm in the winter too.
That would,
Yeah,
running
actually,
on 200 amps of service. This sounds like it's going to suck up some power.
you know what? I didn't look at the power draw.
I'm
Man,
intrigued
fail.
because we're talking about savings, but I'm curious on the utilities needed to cool it, electrify it.
I mean, it's not like power is going up.
Oh, why would that be happening?
At least they're air cooled still.
That's true. I think these are air cooled. Yeah. They can reach 1,500 watts.
Oh, that's not nearly as high as I expected, to be quite
Sorry,
honest.
1,600 watts. So you pretty much put a 20 amp circuit in, you could run it.
Nothing. Less than an actual heater. Yeah.
Yep. Remember, these are using ARM processors, so it's more like the processors that are in your phone versus the processor in your computer. So they use a lot less power. Yeah. The GPU on there, the graphics processing unit, that's gonna do most of the AI stuff. That's probably gonna use the most power out of all that. So yeah, you could you need adequate airflow, but not as much as you need for like a data center. Because I mean, look, you put servers, you put 1-2 servers in a room. If you don't have proper cooling, a room can get 100 degrees real quick.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Well, from a security perspective, I actually love it because people are keeping all their data close and tight, and you know where it is, and you've got some better controls. But like Matt said, ultimately all this stuff's going to suck more power and resources. Yeah. So yeah, we got power consumption and we also have air conditioning consumption. So, it's going to save some money, but it's still another device that's out there.
Yeah, I'm concerned about a couple things. One, how do you back it up? Because if you're feeding all these documents in there to train it, that's okay. We didn't miss you. I'm just kidding.
How do we back it up?
Elon wanted to cancel me. Apparently, perfect right now.
Well, what we're saying is, Matt, what do you think about this? And like, what is something that you think might be a limitation, a pro and a con to running something like this?
Well, I think a limitation is what we saw when we first went from on-site servers to the cloud in general, where it's great and simpler. But if we're looking at moving something like that back, we've got to factor in the maintenance, the updates, things like that. And I have no idea what that would look like on something like this. But I do love the data control. And I love the financial control too, that you don't have a vendor that says,
Whoops, the satellite flew by again.
Maybe one day he'll fix the satellite.
Chris, the other piece I look at is from a redundancy perspective.
Yeah.
These are $100,000 computers. You can't have just one.
Nope.
If you're using this to really judge and run your business, and depending on it day to day, it's got to be more than one. It's probably got to be more than one location. And then how do we share that much data between those locations? We're back to dark fiber.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could still run two in one location. Again, or maybe like you said, maybe you run one in one location, one in the other location, and they just, it's not like they can, it's really about backup, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that would worry me is like, once you get all this stuff trained, how do you back it up? Because you're right, you probably need to buy at least two.
Well, I guess
Now-
it depends on how mission critical it is in your operation as well. You know, if
But-
it breaks, then you live without it, and how long, etc.
Right, but you're also putting in, if you're building agents out there actually doing stuff in your company.
Then it's
Now,
pretty critical.
So the global partners for this right now are Asus, MSI, Gigabyte. Most people won't know who they are unless they bought a laptop, a motherboard, or maybe a video card. But then Dell and HP are making them as well. So the cool thing about that is you probably get some support from them and warranty. You can have an on-site warranty. So if something fails in it, they'd actually come on site and fix it. So that's something to take into consideration too. And look, we're not telling you to go out and buy this. That's not what we're saying. We're saying this is something that's coming that's going to open up the ability for companies that can afford it to be able to run local AI, honestly, at a pretty cheap cost.
And honestly, competition and new forms of technology are good. It's always going to be a positive for those of us that use it in the end.
But what do you guys? So when somebody's looking to implement AI inside their business, right? We're not going to recommend you go out and spend $100,000 to buy this, right? Start small, right? Use a frontier model.
Sure.
Figure out what you want to, what you can actually move to AI before you go and spend a bunch of money on local AI stuff, because it gets really expensive real quick.
I think that's where a lot of businesses are going to go. Is you're going to build this out using some of the public, some of the SaaS models, build it out, and then when you get to the point where it's going to cost us $80,000 a month in tokens, we need to look at optimizing that and bringing it in house. Or you're bringing it in house because of the security references before that. Once you come up with the platform and the base the processes.
And we have to understand too that open source models aren't as good as frontier models. They're just not, and quite frankly, they might never be. They'll get better. They're good for really specific, well-tuned tests. But if you need like really hard reasoning, if you need a true, you're still gonna have to fall back to a frontier model. So it might be good enough for a workflow, but maybe it can't replace an entire department. Right? I actually think hybrid's the future. I think we're gonna use a lot of local AI models for specific tasks, but when we really need reasoning or stuff like that, it can actually route it out and use like Anthropic or use ChatGPT or use Gemini to get a better answer and enrich what we're doing. But let's talk about something very specific. What about compliance?
What about compliance?
This helps compliance, right? Because it can be internal to you.
Yep.
What I just mentioned might not help compliance, but it depends on what you're connecting to and stuff like that and where the data lives. But it's something that I think a lot of places are going to consider. Have you guys played with some of the open source agents out there?
I have not.
I've dabbled, not to any positive end.
Boy, they can be a time suck.
Yep. It's a rabbit hole. It's neat though.
I got mine to hack my NAS, but I probably shouldn't admit that. So we'll move on from there. By the way, that cost me a little bit too much money because I wasn't using open source models. So, but I think the thing here is like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of exciting. From this, I guess we can kind of nerd out for a second. Having that much power in a box that sits under a desk that only uses 1,600 watts of power is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of excited for the future. I know people are scared of AI. You don't have to be scared of it. It's hard. I know it's hard to understand. I know it's hard to get through that stuff. The companies and the people that use AI are going to get further along and further ahead than the companies and people that don't.
Sure.
It doesn't mean you're behind because it's changing so rapidly. We're finding limitations on a lot of these models and things like that, maybe it doesn't solve everything. But things are getting better. And as exciting as this is, the strategy is what matters the most. What data do you have? What are you trying to do with it? Is it local better? Is the frontier model better, or is a hybrid better? Those are the types of those are the types of questions you really need to kind of ask yourself and figure out what works best for you. I will say this: I'm not spending $100,000 on a box tomorrow, so just saying that.
You can hack your NAS faster, though. Probably.
You hack your NAS faster. Anyway, we're at 20 minutes now. What they're gonna hack, I don't know.
Yeah, not cheaper though. So if you guys have any questions, drop them comment down below. Let us know if you want to see something. Next week we're going to talk a little bit deeper into AI, but it's kind of scary stuff and kind of cool stuff at the same time. So, all right.
Till next week, guys.
Till next week.